Hello and welcome back. Susan Zummo here, intuitive and originator of soul patterning harmonics. In this video, we're going to be talking about intuition a little more, and specifically about clearing the lens of intuition. So everyone that I've ever met already has their beliefs, and they're willing to defend those beliefs already intact before we even start our first conversation. And I would say that's true for everybody. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's kind of how it is, right? Everybody has their beliefs. Some of those beliefs have been given to us by parents, by loving adults, sometimes by not so loving adults, friends, family. Also, they can come from past life experiences as well, and we carry those in with us into the present life. We all have our own beliefs and our own opinions, and that's okay. When working with the intuition, however, as we said last week in last week's video, we have to be willing to learn new information. We have to be willing to open our eyes and our ears and our hearts to new beliefs, new facts, change. That's what we're talking about, change, right? So we know that we are in a time of great change right now. And for those of us who have very firm and very fixed beliefs, this may be a time of struggle. And so we want to talk about clearing the lens. And we say that because when the soul speaks to us through the intuition, we are going to receive information through our own personal lens. Well, what does that mean? It means that the lens within us, through which we see and experience the world, is created by our beliefs. The beliefs that were given to us in this life, either through experience, or individuals outside of us, or even past life experiences and lessons. Sometimes those beliefs are founded in fears. And it is important for us to clear the lens through which we see the world and receive our intuitive information so that we are not acting on information through a fear lens or a rigid belief lens. And this is going to be important for us because right now, as I said, everybody has everything out there. There is information about everything out there. There are experiences that are coming in fast and furious. And the question is, what do I believe? What is true for me? And in order to know that and to converse with the intuition, we have to clear the lens through which that information is coming. That means that we need to know ourselves. We need to know what our fears are. We need to know how our beliefs are created within us. And we need to know if what we are being presented with is going to be something that we want to engage with. We are being called upon in every facet of life right now to change. Change is happening all around us. And so if we are afraid of change, then we want to ask the intuition about releasing that fear. And we're going to have a little exercise for you later on in the video as we get into this. But for right now, I want you to think about, feel into, what is your most precious belief about the world? Do you believe that you are a safe person? Do you believe that you are protected? Do you believe that the world is a dangerous place? Do you believe that everybody's out to get you? Do you believe that if people do not think or act like you, that you will be unsafe? Do you believe that everyone needs to believe what you believe in order to be right? Can you believe what others believe without it harming you? And maybe it's not right for you. And that's okay too. I'm not asking you to force yourself to believe something that you don't, or to accept something that you don't. What I am asking you to do is to have a clear lens within yourself so that you know why you are accepting something or why you are not accepting something. And this is going to be the key to moving forward into the future in a positive way. You don't have to accept everything that's presented to you, but you will need to know if you are rejecting it out of fear or out of love. And those are two very different reasons. And we want to have our lives guided by love, not by fear. So when someone says to me, "This is how it is," I always check that with my own intuition. And sometimes what I will get in response is, "Well, maybe it is for you, but not for me." And that's okay. Or sometimes the response will be, "Yes, think about that. Look at that. You might want to consider changing that." Your intuition is never going to force you to do something that you are not ready to do. And it's okay to not be ready. But again, we want to know why. Because the whole point of us being here, the whole point of me doing these videos and doing the work that I do is to help you elevate your consciousness, to expand your consciousness into a higher frequency. That is not going to happen with rigidity and fear. And we already know this. So when you are working with the intuition and when you are conversing with your intuition, do not be afraid to hear information that may challenge your beliefs and your emotions and your fears. Sometimes the challenge is to what you are loving. Is what you are loving healthy for you right now? Is it going to be of benefit to you and everyone in your life? Does it benefit you and the other individual for you to love them in the way that you are? And these are questions that we can ask and receive information, but we want to clear the lens as that information comes through. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Since we are in the month of February, we'll talk about relationships. I sat next to an individual many years ago, an intuitive individual, actually. She was a psychic who had just gone through a divorce. And we were at a public function, and she was doing readings for people. Everyone who sat in front of her and asked a relationship question was told that they had to get divorced. They had to leave that person. That person was no good for them. Now, do you think that individual had a clear lens? Because I don't think so. I think that that individual would have done well to clear their own lens before giving information to others. Now, you know, I always say you should ask your own intuition and get your own answers. But you also want to know if your lens is clear, especially if what is guiding the information is based in information or experiences that come up from past lives, or that may be hidden in the subconscious. And know, again, that if you are not ready to work on it, to address it, or to release it, that's okay. The next question for the intuition is, how do I get ready to do that? There's always a step back and a way to get to where we want to get to. We just have to be willing to look at it and to work it. Now, clearing the lens means that once you have gotten that information, you need to take action. I have people come to me all the time who want to know how to connect with their guides, how to connect with their guardians, how to talk to their galactic family, how to make contact. And yet, as soon as anything comes close to that, they run for the other room and hide under the covers, shivering and shaking. Does that mean that they are ready? No, it means that there's still a lot of fear there that needs to be addressed. And so again, we need to know ourselves well enough to know that when we are given information, to not reject it outright because it creates fear in us. We always want to check and see, where is that fear coming from? Now, I'm not saying don't be cautious. I'm not saying don't be practical, right? Many, many years ago, my teacher said to me, you know you are protected. You just don't have to go stand on a railroad track to prove it. So we need to have balance, and we need to be practical. We need to not be willful and push ourselves or challenge the universe to prove something to us. Remember, when you are being willful, nothing in the universe is going to step in and override that free will. And so you will have the experience that you wish to have. So if I were to challenge the universe to make sure that I was protected by standing on the railroad tracks, I might get a lot of anxiety. My intuition may be sending all kinds of signals and images and body feelings to caution me away from that. And if I still insist on doing that, I'm going to have the experience of what it's like to be hit by a train. So I'm going to say, let's avoid that. Let's step away from being willful, but ask the intuition and check the information that's being put in front of you. Do not react unconsciously to triggers from the outside based on your beliefs, your programming, and your fears. The path to higher consciousness is through love. Love expands when we release fear. And love expands when we are open to greater love. We cannot be open to greater love when we are in the clutches of rigid beliefs and rigid fears. We can have all our beliefs and still be willing to see things differently. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why intuition is so important on the path to higher consciousness. So how do you do that? How do you connect with the intuition? Well, as I said before, it's a conversation that you have with your soul. You have to learn the language. You have to learn your language. You have to be willing for the language of the soul to be different than what you expect. If you expect it to be a movie running through your head like you see on TV and in the movies, you're going to be very disappointed. Most people don't function that way. For most people, it's a feeling or a knowing or something that they hear. It can be images as well, but they're not always cohesive and work in a timeline. They can be disjointed and quick flashes. And then you have to work on interpreting the information that you get. And what does that mean? That means asking yourself questions about the lens through which that information is coming through. We will not be able to move forward without the intuition functioning and functioning to a deeper level. Intuitives, this information applies to you as well. Be willing to expand your intuitive gifts. Be willing to welcome in new intuitive information. Be willing to have a deeper experience with your soul and the greater cosmos than you ever have before. So now, let's do a little exercise together. If you are in a place where you can, I just want you to settle yourself for a moment and take a deep breath. You might even want to get a piece of paper or have your phone ready to record into, because your intuition is going to speak to you very quickly. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose and release it through the mouth. So just breathe in. And you can feel everything start to settle within you. You might want to close your eyes And take another nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you feel everything within you start to relax and move to a centered place, go ahead and take one more cleansing breath. Deep breathing activates the intuition. So breathe in again. And relax. And now simply ask your intuition, ask your soul, what does my soul want me to know about myself today? What does my soul want to tell me right now? Just go ahead and jot down the first thing that comes in. Don't reject the first 5 things because you don't think that's it. Just grab it and either write it down, say it into your phone, or hold on to it. Again, it may be a feeling. Pay attention to your body. It may be a thought. Don't reject that thought. It may be an image. I can tell you that it will be something positive, and it will be something uplifting. Your soul will never make you feel bad about yourself. And so now you can take a deep breath, and you can ask your soul, what can I do with this information? What do I need to do today? Take the first thing, jot it down quickly. Don't reject it. Accept it as a fact and know it to be true. Take another nice deep breath. And then you can open your eyes. And you've got it. If what you hear creates an uncomfortability within you or a fear within you, that's okay. If it challenges your idea about yourself, that's okay too. Work with it. That's why it's there. Having a conversation with your soul via the intuition on a regular basis is a vital piece of the path to higher consciousness and to the creation of the new earth. Your intuition will guide you as to what is best for you. Listen. And so I hope that helps and gives you a little opportunity to practice. As I said, we're going to be doing more of that in my classes and on a deeper level. So I appreciate everyone who's contacted me. I love your comments. I appreciate you sharing the videos so they show up on other people's feeds so that they can get the information and the messages too. You are so appreciated and so loved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So until next time, I wish you many blessings and wonderful conversations with your soul.